All right, test, test, test. Can everybody hear me? So you can see we've got a lot of gaming PCs here this year. We've got the Lenovo Legion Tower 5. This is the Asus ROG G700. We've got the Corsair Vengeance A7500. This is a new Apex gaming PC, the Apex RTS with a 5090. And then right here is the AVG PC Whirlwind. We've got the iBuyPower Element 9. And this right here is the ABS Cyclone. This is the MXZ. This right here is the HP Omen 35L Stealth. And then right here we've got the version of the Asus ROG G700 that was accidentally sent to me first, which is a version that's not currently available. But it was one, I guess they accidentally sent me one that was not the one that I asked to review. But anyways, Rax, how's it going? Greasy Eddie, let me get one. Yeah. I wish the only PCs that I'm actually keeping are the really inexpensive ones that I bought myself, and that's this one right here, the AVG PC. No, that's the AVG PC Max. I'm still yet to do a full review on that. And then the ABS Cyclone, I'm going to be doing a full review on that. The MXZ, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do a full review on that one yet. I've done a bunch of benchmarks on it, but not a full review on that yet. Lux Ziffer, what's going on? So I have an exciting thing to show you guys this year. Spent a lot of time on this. This right here. Let me point. So this is going to be your 5,000 range. This is your 4,000 range. I put everything in a chart that allows you to easily see how much FPS you're going to get for each one of those gaming PCs. The PCs that I did not specifically benchmark, it's going to say same spec FPS charts. It's going to say same spec FPS charts. So if you click on one of these, what it's going to do is it's going to shoot you down to where those FPS are, so you can see all of those charts. I did all of these charts for every PC that I've ever reviewed. And then when you want to go back to the top of the spreadsheet, click on that and it takes you to the top. This should be in the description of this video, a link to this spreadsheet. Yep, yeah, it's in there right now. But yeah, this spreadsheet is the accumulation of thousands of hours of testing and reviewing, all put in a single chart. If there's a PC on here, if this video helps you, but there's a PC on here that was not one that I have listed here, if you could use one of these links before you make a purchase, I would really appreciate it. A small commission goes to me for every single purchase made with any of those links. Pretty much every retailer has an affiliate program, so I've signed up on all of those. But yeah, as you can see, these are the 5,000 plus range is not necessary, but these are kind of like my favorite PCs in that area. Once you get down to like the 4,000 and under, that's kind of where I've kind of looked for more specific good deals. And then you've got the weird but cool PCs that are also expensive, but they're pretty interesting. And then down here, I have my FPS, the average and 1% lows of all the games summed up together in an average for each one of these PCs. And you can see how they compare to each other if you want to make an assessment on how much something costs versus how much more of a boost in FPS you're going to get. Yeah, so all the PCs that I've tested this year, you can click on their actual FPS. It'll shoot you down to that part of the chart where I show my FPS. And then you've got your price to performance ratios for all of these PCs. And it shows you the #1 ranked PC for every section there at the top. Obviously, the ones that are the slower PCs are going to be your best bet when it comes to the cheapest price. The more powerful PCs that you end up getting, the less bang for your buck you're going to be getting as far as performance goes. Lucifer, so what feels like a furnace in there? So I cranked my AC. Like all the way up in order to make it not too hot in this office right now. But since I'm not really running any games, these PCs are not they're not really creating that much heat. Just them being on creates heat, I guess. But Sol TV 2016, you recommend me buying parts right now or wait? So the main thing that's going to be an issue as far as buying parts is going to be your RAM right now. RAM is pretty crazy priced. That's the only thing that's making, or the main thing that's making building it yourself a little more annoying than it used to be. But yeah, I mean, building yourself is always going to be more cost effective. But for people that just want an overall warranty for all of the parts together, to not have to think about or to diagnose themselves what exactly is wrong with the PC, to figure out which thing you need to send back, which component you want to send back to the manufacturer. It is nice to know that if you get a PC from one of these brands, you can just send your entire PC in, and they have to replace it because they're under a 1-year warranty. Corsair Vengeance PCs, they're under a 2-year warranty, so within 2 years, they have to replace the PC if they can't figure out how to fix it. Rex, wait, you're doing a giveaway? I wish. So I mentioned in the very beginning of the stream that pretty much all of these PCs have been loaned to me, and I have to send them back. The only one that I bought myself, this AVG PC Max, that is, right now, I think it's a... What's it priced at right now? The AVG PC Max is... It's at $850, so that one right there is $850. This is the ABS Cyclone. I haven't done a full review on that one yet. The MXZ is kind of a very, not a very exciting PC. Actually, I don't have that chart on here. I think it was because the MXZ actually went out of stock. I think that's why I didn't put it on this chart. But yeah, not very exciting FPS on that MXZ, but it also, I'm pretty sure it was like a $500 or $600 gaming PC. So you can't really expect too much performance out of a PC that's that inexpensive. If I turn my fan at my desk on, can you guys hear that on my microphone? Does it sound like an annoying wind hitting my microphone right now? I think that these are my favorite charts to do right here, though. We basically just get to see the entire sum of how good or bad a PC is. And it's not, I mean, not all PCs are the same when it comes to performance. You can see that there is a range between the Skytech Legacy 4 with a 5090 to the Corsair Vengeance A5100 with a, well, it's more about the 9800 X3D when you're dealing with 1080p gaming. But yeah, ranges from 312 average to 338 average from all the games. And then as you get into 4K gaming, it's mostly about how powerful that GPU is and how much they hold it back But yeah, you can see that once you start getting into like the 9060 XT area, even, I mean, the 1% lows are it's gonna look really choppy if you're trying to look at everything in Ultra. Yeah, as far as the PCs that were sold out, unfortunately, before Black Friday even started, we had a few that sold out. I do want to check and see if some of them have come back. Let's see if any of these have come back in stock, because these were really great deals, and it was kind of a bummer to see them go. Yep, that one's out of stock. ABS Eururs Ruby. Currently sold out. Yeyian MIRAGE, that one's not sold out. I'm pretty sure that one's still in stock. Yeah, see, that's a $4,000 gaming PC with a 5090 and 9800 X3D. It's probably the best deal you're going to find right now for a 5090 gaming PC. The Gigabyte Aorus Supreme 5, yep, that is still out of stock. Doesn't seem like any of these are trying to come back in stock for Black Friday. I know I started this stream technically about almost an hour early, but I wanted to make sure to kind of get ahead of the rush, because I know the last two times that I did this stream right at midnight, right when I had it scheduled, the stream scheduled to start, it was a lot of questions all at once. Crow Cook Rat. If I want to buy a 5090, is there any difference in models? I don't do too much specific benchmarking of the GPUs, the differences between GPU brands, because all these pre-built PCs, they come with whatever is currently available. So I couldn't really say. I know that what's one that I keep getting? Keep seeing a lot of. Obviously, this is Asus MSI. So this is an MSI. The Zotac Gaming. I've been seeing a lot of gaming PCs with the Zotac Gaming. This is Lenovo's version of the NVIDIA GeForce. We've got a PNY. So PNY and Zotac Gaming, I would say, are the two most common GPUs that I see them put into pre-builts. But yeah, I'd say this is probably the best GPU that I've seen in a pre-build as far as like the overall thickness, and the way that they have the heatsink set up. I think that, I mean, just how heavy that GPU was. That was one of the only GPUs that it didn't come with the GPU already installed. The Apex Gaming PCs, they actually ship the GPU uninstalled, kind of protected, so that just to make sure that it doesn't sag or break that PCIe slot. I want to do a poll and see what everybody plans on gaming at. What resolution? What resolution do you plan to game at? 1080p, 1440p, 4K. Start poll. So for those of you just jumping onto the stream, in the description of this video, I have a extremely thorough spreadsheet, something that's taken several days to create, but the data itself, all of the data that's in here is the accumulation of about thousands of hours actually of benchmarking, reviewing, testing of all of these gaming PCs that were. These are all the gaming PCs that were reviewed this year. These are the ones that I'm currently recommending. And you can see next to each PC, I have a little link that takes you to their actual FPS. So you click on that and it'll drop you down to exactly how many FPS you get at 1080p, 1440p, and 4K gaming. If you go, and then you can click on this little link right underneath that to take you back to the top. But yeah, if you scroll a little bit further, these are the links for the actual PCs. They're affiliate links, so if you guys purchase with them, I'll get a small commission, and I would really appreciate if any of this info is helpful, that you use these links, and then you can actually go to my review as well next to each of the PCs that I've actually reviewed, had my hands on specifically. And then you can do that same thing down here. I'll have product links next to each one, and then the review next to each of those, provided I did a review. Like this Element 9 I currently have in the studio, but I have not done a review video on it yet. Daddy O Daddy Land 8902, happy Thanksgiving, Justin. Appreciate that. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Is the Thermaltake Reactor 9590 any good? Yeah, from what I've seen of that one, the price to performance, I haven't tested it specifically, but the spec to dollar ratio is incredibly good, and I've heard really good things about that specific case. I saw that case when I went to CES in person. I haven't had my hands on it. But yeah, I do have that as one of the weird but cool PCs. So let's take a look at that one real quick. It's kind of more of like a vertical PC. It's different. But actually, I like it. I like the design of that. The vertical GPU, everything just kind of flows from one side to the next. But yeah, that is one of the ones that I've kind of taken notice of this year. It's not the best price, but quite a bit less than the Corsair Vengeance PCs. The best deal for a 5090 PC right now that I've found is the Yeyian Mirage. That's a 9800X3D with the 5090. The Alienware Area 51, when I reviewed it, it was at $4,700, and it had a really good price to performance ratio. Actually, let me see if it currently still is, because I updated all these prices yesterday. Let's see what currently at 4K, what is the best priced 5090? That's not a 5090. Yep, so currently the Alienware Area 51 is the has the best price to performance ratio out of all of the 5090 PCs that I've reviewed. All right, so we have a few questions in here. Multi-Chris Johnson, 3rd year tuning into your Black Friday streams. Awesome. Welcome back. I'm glad you returned. So I'm doing things a little bit different this year. Actually, I took all 24 hours from my stream last year, and I had ChatGPT transcribe everything. Actually, I think YouTube already transcribed it, so I just gave those transcriptions to actually Gemini, Google's version of AI, and I asked it to analyze everything that was said and how I can do better this year. And it told me that doing 24 hours was actually a not efficient use of my time and energy, and it recommended I break it up. So I'm doing this first video, this first stream until 3 a.m. CST, and then I'm going to get about 5 hours of sleep, get back on around 8 or 9, most likely 9 a.m. I'll probably wake up at 8 and then get everything ready to go at 9. But yeah, then from 9 o'clock, I'm going to do 2 streams from there, because if I try to do longer than 12 hours, YouTube won't, it won't save my stream. It'll just basically delete it once I'm done. So probably going to break it up, go from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., maybe 8 p.m., and then just go from there to midnight after that. Have you tried the Asus behind you with the 9800 X3D and 5070 Ti? Seems like the cooling in that one is better than the air cooler 5070 they sent you. So do you know for sure that the 9800 X3D version of that PC is with a water cooler? Because I mean, regardless, it's still a great PC. I did put it on this list. It's technically a GM 700. So I think when I looked at the specs of Best Buy, that version, even though it looks like it has a water cooler, pretty sure in the specs it says that it is an air cooler. Oh, nope, that one is a liquid cooler. Okay, the GPU cooling system is air, but that's pretty much everything. Yeah, that's actually the one that I recommended in the actual review. So the PC that I reviewed was this version, the 265F 5070, because Intel loves to push themselves onto brands, but it should have been cheaper, considering I'm pretty sure Intel incentivizes all of these big brands to push their PCs first. 1750 I would not say is a good deal for that PC. You're going to get so much more performance out of that 9800 X3D version. Okay, let's see. Extravex, can you send me an RTX 5070 Ti laptop, because it would mean a lot. I'm working on stocks, not old enough to make an account, but I know my stuff. Yeah, I wish I could just send out free PCs. Requiem, have you ever considered ordering a build from Cost Plus Gaming? They have an A1 Extreme that lets you slap in a 9800 X3D with a 5080 for like $2,600, or 5090 for about $1,000 more. No, I have not heard of Cost Plus Gaming. Requiem, how are you not in a turkey coma right now? Yeah, for some reason, every time I have to, I was watching the Cowboys game and almost fell asleep near the end, even though Cowboys are rocking it. Just because something about that turkey every year just instantly puts me in nap mode. Multi-Chris Johnson, do you get links? I want to get your thoughts on the PC I bought this week. Yeah, Andrew Media Andromeda Insights I've been seeing pop up a lot on Newegg, but I haven't physically had any experience with them yet. Chippy Dip, can you check out the Skytech Rampage 9070 XT with the 7800X 3D? Is that on the actual Skytech website, or is that on Best Buy or Newegg? That is not what I wanted. Skytech Rampage 7800X 3D 9070 XT. $1850. 7800X 3D 9070 XT $1850. So this iBuyPower Slate 9 that I have on my list comes with the 9800X 3D, which is quite a bit more powerful, and that one's at $1650. But yeah, that CyberPower PC was a really good deal. It sold out 2 days ago, though. But yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Wonder if I can add that to my... See if I can add that to my list. So if you guys go onto the video, you should see some... Alright, get out of here. Should see some links up here. I'll pin specific computers that I'm talking about, but these are all the ones on my list that you can buy from Best Buy, Newegg, Dell, and Walmart. Should be right underneath the video. Let me know if you guys can't see that. But yeah, the Skytech Rampage, I think I do want to add this to my list. Alright, I just pinned the Skytech Rampage. I think it should pop up in the lower left corner. Let's take a little bit closer look at the some of the other specs. I love how Newegg does this. They give you more information than a lot of the other PC or a lot of the other retailers. Walmart's the worst. Best Buy often does a good job. You get the most information when you buy ABS gaming PCs strictly from Newegg. You don't have to guess the specific brand. See, this one says brand may vary. 6,000 megahertz RAM. It's good. 2 terabyte SSD. Yeah, it's a pretty solid deal. I've reviewed a lot of Skytech gaming PCs. I haven't yet reviewed the Rampage, but I've been pretty pleased with all of them. All right, what are your thoughts on the new Alienware Area 51 with the new AMD processor? Oh, I have thoughts about that. So let me do something real quick for you guys. So this is the AMD Alienware Area 51 with an Intel CPU. Now let's take a look at the Alienware Area 51 with a 9800 X3D, their newest edition. Where is... Let me duplicate this product page. Okay, so the Alienware Area 51 with an AMD 9950 X3D. The cheapest that you can get from Alienware right now is $6,150 versus their $4,250 PC. When you're buying a PC with the 5090, you're going to be gaming at 4K. So it's going to make getting that 9950 X3D not really that necessary anymore. There's going to be, I mean, this one is going to perform a little bit better, just like the 9800 X3D PCs that I tested with 5090s. But for it to be $2,000 more expensive, that does irritate me a little bit that Alienware did that. It should not be that expensive for an Alienware PC. Some of these other PCs like Corsair, you get a 2-year warranty, and it is easier to upgrade. Alienware, you can technically upgrade everything now, but if you upgrade the RAM, I mean, if you replace the motherboard, you're gonna have to replace the power supply as well. So if you get Alienware, I would actually just stick with the Intel version, even though in my review I kind of complained that they only had the Intel version option. It's still better to get that than spend $2,000 more for the AMD version. And as you can see, the Intel version in my price to performance ratios, because it was priced so well, had the best price to performance ratio out of all the 5090 gaming PCs that I've tested. All right, so I'm going to skim through some of these because we're picking up some momentum here. I have a 4K 144 hertz. Is a 5070 Ti enough, or 5080, 5090 better? I mean, definitely the 5090 is going to be the best for the highest FPS that you could possibly get at 4K. It also depends on which game you're playing. You already get really high FPS with Call of Duty games. In some of those first-person shooters, Valorant, you get a lot of high FPS already. Requiem, what are your 3 favorite games to play when testing out a new Prebuilt? Cyberpunk is my favorite to look around in. And then Red Dead 2 is always one that I love, just pushing a PC to the max to see how real it can look, how real it can get. But then Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I just love Call of Duty games. So seeing how realistic those first-person shooters can look and how many FPS I can get out of it, that excites me. This is the one that I bought, a PowerSpec G759 on Micro Center. What were the specs on that one? So how many hertz would I need for this PC as well? Mainly playing Battlefield and Black Ops 7. I haven't played Black Ops 7, but I'm pretty sure it's probably going to play similar to Black Ops 6. So let's look at a 5080 PC and take a look at the FPS we get with ultra graphic presets. So let's do CLX Set. So with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at 1080p, we got 205 FPS for the average. Once you got up to 4K, we got 106 average FPS, the 1% low of 79. So it kind of depends on how you want to tune your graphics settings. I love just having everything set to ultra. I did a poll on my channel. Everybody said that they wanted me to stick to doing ultra graphic presets when I do my tests. But yeah, so that's what you can expect. This is without DLSS on too, so once you turn DLSS on, it will increase your FPS, make it look smoother. It's just kind of a software cheat that I don't like to use to compare PCs because it's not really a fair advantage when software changes all the time. But if you want to look at actual FPS for like a 5090 PC without DLSS, these are the FPS that you can expect on, let's do a A7500. So you can see with Modern Warfare 2, we're at 248 on the average at 1080p. Go up to 4K, we're at 165, 161 for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, with occasional dips to 122. Well, occasional dips to an average of 122 in the 1% lows. All right, let's see what else we got here. Is the iBuyPower AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D and Radeon 9070 XT going to let me play almost any game at high speeds and resolutions along with lots of mods? That's a pretty loaded question. 9800X3D, Radeon 9070 XT, high speeds and resolutions. So let's look at a PC with a similar configuration to that, and I'll show you the FPS that you can expect. So 9800X3D, let's go to here. Okay, 9800X3D and a 90. Okay, so I have a 7800X3D and a 9070 XT. I don't have. Did I not do that configuration? Yeah, you said 9800X3D and 9070 XT. So the closest equivalent I have to that is the 7800X3D and 9070 XT. So you can expect higher FPS with the 9800X3D, obviously. But it also depends on what resolution you're gaming at. If you're gaming at 1080p, that 9800X3D is going to make a huge difference. If you're gaming at 4K, it's really not going to make hardly any difference at all. These are the average FPS you can expect at ultra graphic presets with these games. Also worried about overheating a lot. Don't know if that's an issue with that PC. No, I didn't have any overheating with the iBuyPower. One thing that I have not personally experienced, but I have seen different people say this about iBuyPower and sometimes CyberPower PCs, is that when they push their PC kind of too hard for too long, I think this is like over a period of a couple of years, the first thing that does tend to go with CyberPower and iBuyPower PCs, the kind of the Achilles heel, is the power supply. So it's possible that you, in a couple of years, if you game pretty intense, that you might have to replace the power supply, but it's usually, I mean, you can get a good one for under $200. How many pre-builts do you have now from all the testing? One day you'll be able to construct an entire house using them. Okay, so let's take a look at... Oh, I just noticed that this camera is not where it needs to be. So... PCs that I have in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I have my main gaming PC right here, which is off screen. That is a Corsair build kit with a 4090. Haven't actually yet upgraded my rig to 5090 yet. But I have an i9. Actually, I have the old i9 14900 KF in there, and it's really good for editing. Obviously, I have the latest BIOS update, so don't fry that CPU. The issues that they were having on it. Let me make sure I'm not missing any good questions on here. Bought a 5090 today from Newegg. Is my 1000 PSU going to be enough to power it? They do recommend that you have above 1,000 watt power supply. It depends on how hard you push that GPU, or on how hard you push graphics in general on that PC. You're kind of pushing it with a 1,000 watt power supply. I would honestly go for at least 1,200. Requiem, have you ever had... Here, this is bothering me that my camera is not centered here. You ever had a GPU or power cable melt in any of these pre-builts? Any of the pre-builts break down? Thankfully, no. Out of these, 3 years now doing strictly pre-built reviews, I have not yet had one of them break down on me. I've had one right off the bat that didn't boot. I had to send it back. What was that? I can't remember what brand that was. That was like 2 years ago, though. They sent me a new one. What's the best Ryzen 7 9800X 3D with a 5070 Ti? Let's go back to the top of the spreadsheet right here and look at pricing. 9800X 3D and 5070 Ti. The best deal for that one used to be the CyberPower PC. I saw a lot of purchases come in for this one, but pretty sure it's still out of stock. Let's see. Sometimes on Black Friday nope. I did notice last year, you guys still might want to click on the link and just check, because last year what didn't show up for me, some people were saying it showed up within their purchase from your store option for pickup. So some people might have some at their local Best Buy for pickup. But that, under $2,000 for that combo is insane. So the next best bet above that, I just did a review on the Asus ROG G700, and in that review, I actually talked down the one that they sent me, and I said, you want to get the 9800X 3D version, not the Intel version that's overpriced for its performance. Let's see if this one's still in stock. This is the one that I recommended in my actual review. Yep, so that one is still available. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the GM700 Gaming AMD Ryzen 8700F 5060? I haven't actually done anything with a combo similar to that. Let's take a look at where the 8700F stands in its hierarchy of CPUs real quick. Oh, I guess that CPU is not on Tom's Hardware's hierarchy. It's hard to say because I haven't physically had experience with that CPU. But I know the F versions of those AMD CPUs usually aren't that powerful. Let's see if that one's at Best Buy, though. I want to take a look and see what the price of that one is. So $1150, you get a 5060 Ti. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty decent deal. It's kind of in between these two sections. Yeah, I'd say that's a worth it deal. Why do I hear so many people say iBuyPower, CyberPower is a bad choice? You kind of, with CyberPower and iBuyPower, you kind of get a lot of people that I think are newer to PC gaming, and they expect too much because they're not used to paying a lot for a gaming PC. But in reality, CyberPower and iBuyPower is not that much money for the specs that you're given. The only issue that I've seen with those brands, and that's for the people that push them really hard, is the power supply not always being the highest quality. But no, they're not bad brands. There's a reason every year iBuyPower and CyberPower PCs are always like the first ones to get just sucked up on Best Buy. And for the amount of people that buy those PCs, there really aren't that many bad reviews for those PCs. Tyrone, how's it going? Do you think the iBuyPower Slate gaming PC is a good deal? Well, there's a bunch of versions of the iBuyPower Slate, so it depends on which one you're talking about. But I do have a few iBuyPower slates. Or do I have a slate? Yeah, I have a Slate 9 on my list for $1650. Yeah, this is a deal. So there's only 3 left at my store. This is one that I saw drop in price a couple days ago when I did my first like pre-Black Friday stream. I definitely think that one will go out of stock today. Let's look at the FPS for it. I haven't specifically tested that specific one. I tested a... Which one did I test, actually? I did the 7800X 3D version. So the 9800X 3D version, let me show you a similar FPS chart of a PC that had those specs. So this is my version with a 7800X 3D. If you game at 4K, it's not going to be too different from this, but if you game at 1080p, the FPS will be quite a bit more than that. What are your thoughts on the Legion Tower 7i Gen 10 Intel with the RTX 5080 and 265K at 2200. Would you rather up it to 2500 to get the 285K 5080 and 64 gigabytes of RAM with the Alienware Aurora? Yeah, I think the 265K, it's already kind of a bottleneck on such a powerful GPU. So yeah, I would get the 285K 5080 combo. People say they use cheap parts for their PCs. Is that true? Do you know? One of the reasons that iBuyPower can cut costs and have their PCs at such a low price compared to the competition is they own a company called Height, and that's the company that their actual PC case comes from. So all of their cases are with Height. They're Height cases, and the GPU selection, like other pre-builts, the specific brand that they put in there is always just a luck of the draw. Not luck of the draw. It's always based on what's currently available on the market. Sometimes a lot of GPUs, they sell out quickly, or there's GPUs that they're just not producing that much of anymore, so they resort to other brands. But the part that CyberPower and iBuyPower usually get cheaper than I would prefer is on the power supply. But I mean, it's really the people that are just really trying to push their gaming graphics to the max, pushing that power supply to its max and running it at its max power, where that power supply will possibly have an issue later, maybe 2 years down the road, if you push the power too hard. And you kind of know, you'll kind of know if you go into your stats how much power you're drawing from your power supply. So if you keep it at not at 100% max on the power supply, then even the cheaper power supplies should last you a while. Please look at the PowerSpec G527 from Micro Center. I have not yet had personal experience with the PowerSpec yet. 14700F 5060. Oh, so 7500 X3D. Yeah, I have not heard. Wait, is that what you asked for? That's not what you asked for. You asked for the 14700F. Why did it not send me that one? Should have pulled it up. Maybe I'll go to Micro Center first and then type in their search. Yeah, I'm not finding that PC. You know what, Siphon? I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna add you as a standard moderator so you can send a link. I can just look at your link. Would you recommend the 5070 Ti or the 9070 XT? The 9070 XT is going to give you more bang for your buck. The 5070 Ti is going to be more powerful. If you look at this overall chart, you can see the average for a 5070 Gi in 1080p is a 123 to their 117. Let's see what the percentage for that is. So 5% difference in performance. Then when you go down to like 4K Ultra, it's going to be not as much of a difference. But yeah, you'll get more bang for your buck for the 9070 XT. If you play games that use a lot of ray tracing, the 5070 Ti will handle ray tracing and those NVIDIA effects better. You're talking about pushing the power too much. Do you mean overclocking the CPU or GPU? Not overclocking the CPU, because the CPU is not going to like really harm your power supply by pushing that too hard. The GPU, overclocking that too much and using the games that just really put a lot of pressure on your GPU, constantly playing in 4K with your GPU at ultra graphic presets without DLSS on games like Cyberpunk, and you're playing that for like many hours a day, that is a lot on your power supply. It's not something that I would personally worry about though with those PCs. I think saving several $100s in the beginning is many times worth it if you don't always push your graphics to the max. If that makes sense. Is the 5090 really... Oh, wait, let's see. Can you make a mod so I can send a link? Is the 57 or the 5090 really worth the big price tag, or is it better to save $1,000 and just settle for the 5080? So it's technically up to you, but look at the difference. If you're gaming at 4K Ultra, look how massive of a difference that is. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more expensive to get the 5090 in a pre-built PC than a 5080, but look how much of a difference that is. So 67.7 average to 102. What's the percentage on that? %50 increase. So if you're gaming at 4K, you're going to see a massive boost in FPS. If you don't game at 4K, you game at 1440p, it's not as big of a difference, but it's still a big difference. What is that, like 35, 40% more? And then at 1080p, it's not going to make a huge difference because you're dealing with more CPU heavy games, or you're dealing with gaming with more CPU heavy tasks. All right, so let's look at Siphon's computer link. Let's look at these specs real quick. i7 14700F 5060. The RAM on this. 5200 megahertz, okay. I was half wondering if it was going to be DDR4 RAM. Yeah, that's a good deal. I think that's something worth putting on my list. Let me see what's on my list close to that. So i7 with a 5060 for 980. Closest I have is the i5 with the 5060. That's the Element SE. Yeah, I think I'll add that on here. Let me test something real quick. If I cut this and move it down, oh, I need to be in my editable account. Uh-oh, there we go. $980. I buy power. $14700F. One thing to keep in mind with 5060 GPUs is the VRAM. I'm sure most of you know, but the VRAM is going to be lower, so you won't be able to push a lot of, or many of these games at Ultra. 8 gigs of VRAM is not going to be enough, so you have to pull back in order to not have choppy frame rates. But a lot of times you can set that stuff to auto, and it'll automatically adjust your game settings to run smoothly, even at Ultra presets. Alright, so I want to add that link in there as well. Okay, got the link. I don't think I have a PC with those specs where I could put an FPS comparison. I have the 5070. Oh no. Oh yeah, okay, so the ABS Cyclone, I can add that as the similar FPS. Same spec FPS charts. So let's go down to that real quick. These are the FPS that you can expect with that PC, because I did test one with that exact CPU and GPU combo. But yeah, if you want to go into the link for this chart, you can see all of this. I'm going to go to the next question, make sure I'm not ignoring anybody. Multi-Chris Johnson, appreciate that. Here's the link. Okay. $9,800X3D, 5080. Where's the price? 2,300. This is a good price. 6,000 megahertz RAM. Assuming these pictures are exactly what it's going to be, so it has a 360 millimeter AIO. If the pictures are correct, sometimes pictures are not accurate. Yeah, that's a good deal for a 9800X3D and 5080. The cheapest deal that I have on here is the ABS Stratos Ruby. These are the specs. Oh. No, I went to the wrong thing. The ABS Stratos Ruby. These are the FPS that I got with that PC. Yeah, so yeah, you found something that's as good as the deal that I have currently on the sheet. Whoever's giving me all the hearts right now, showing all the love, thank you very much. Appreciate it. You can see that out of the corner of my eye. Makes me feel loved. All right, let's see. Look at some of these other questions on here. Do you think the 5060 and the 5060 Ti would be much different? Well, let's look at this chart real quick. So 5060 Ti, it's got the 16 gigabytes of VRAM, which is very beneficial. Where is the 5060 on this chart? Oh, do they not have the 5060 on this chart? Interesting. Well, let's look in my tests and see what the closest equivalents I have. All right, so I actually have not done tests with the 5060 Ti yet. I've done a lot of 5070 Ti's. I'm surprised there's not a 5060 on Tom's Hardware's chart. You know, sometimes I actually go to those videos where people show the games side by side, and I just click around to see what they showed the difference as. So 5060 versus... It's a good comparison.
Buy game.
Oh, jeez. That was way too loud. So 5050 versus 5060 versus 5060 Ti. What are they saying this resolution is set to? It's not saying what the resolution is. Oh, 1080p. I see it in the very top left corner. So 124 versus 144. That's actually kind of significant. Cyberpunk 2077, that's always a big one. Oh, it does a nice little pause there at the end. So 97 to 107, not a huge difference. So it's kind of up to you. Interesting that the 1% low was higher on the 5060. Huh. Do you think the PC will be able to run beaming smooth? I don't know much about beaming. But if you go on my charts, you can see games that are the closest games comparable to that one and what FPS you can expect with that. Ricksta9037, yo bro, I have an Intel 9 Ultra with a 5070 Ti. Every time I shut down the PC, the FPS are between 80 to 100 lagging. It takes me about restarting it like 2 times to get about 200 to 220, which it was doing. That's weird. I'm trying to think of what would be causing that particular situation. And there's no other PCs run, or there's no other software that starts. Have you done that whole choose which software starts up right when you reboot? I always try to clear out all of that as much as possible. Manrail, I'm done with all my exams. Nice. It's always a good feeling when you finally don't have any more exams. Lampshade XVR. I know you'll probably say no, but have always wanted to have a PC to play PCVR and other PC games, but just don't have that kind of money to spend. Would definitely appreciate it if you can. Yeah, I wish I could. But the only PCs that... Here, let me hide this real quick. The only PCs that are mine are this one, the ABG PC Max, and this one, the ABS Cyclone, and this one right here, which is an MXZ. And none of those are really going to be great VR gaming PCs. They're kind of more entry-level PCs. I mean, it'll open you up to the world of the PC games for PC VR, but the graphics really aren't going to be that big of an improvement for spending like almost $1,000 for each of those. Really for PC VR, since you're dealing with really high resolutions, because everything in that headset is rendering at a very high resolution because you're cutting it in half when you're looking at only 2 parts of it, or you're looking at basically a double image. You're really going to want a PC with a great GPU that can render high resolutions really well and smooth. Do you think switching the CPU to Ryzen will help me with that issue? Well, one thing about switching the CPU to Ryzen is that that's basically going to require you to redo a lot. Like, you're going to have to replace your motherboard with an AMD motherboard in order to get an AMD CPU in there. But no, the Intel i9 Ultra shouldn't be... Oh, what resolution are you playing at, Ricksta? Because that is a factor too, and trying to figure out what would be causing your FPS to be doing that. When you restart the PC multiple times, I know sometimes games say, do you want to start this in safe mode? We're going to redo your game settings in order to play smoothly. I wonder if sometimes the FPS go back up because it resets your graphics settings to something more manageable. It's Shadlow. Hey, just watched your iBuyPower Y40 review. Thinking of buying the iBuyPower Y40 Pro from Best Buy while it's discounted. Do you think that's a solid intro PC? So there's a lot of versions of the Y40. Which specific... Actually, I'm going to make you a moderator real quick so you can send a link to the specific iBuyPower Y40 that you're referring to. Thinking of buying the Lenovo Lock 15 for work with this sale at $650 on Best Buy. I've not seen that one. Lenovo Lock? Ooh, I like this music. What is it? What song is this? Intro for Legends. I want to heart this one. Alright, where was I? So the Lenovo Lock. You said for 6. How much did you say that was? $650. Wow. Wonder how well a 650 gaming laptop can play games. I mean, it's got 87 reviews, 4.7. That's pretty promising. That makes more sense that the normal price is $1,100 because yeah, $650 for a gaming laptop. That's pretty insane. Slim Bean, I think that the PowerSpec G527 with the 7500 X3D and 9060 XT might be the best $1,000 pre-built stats-wise with 6000 DDR5, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Just not many people have tried the 7500 X3D. Yeah, I haven't seen many reviews on the 7500 X3D. So that $1,000 PC has 16 gigabytes of VRAM? Yeah, it does. I mean, that is a lot of VRAM for an $1,000 PC. It's just I can't give like explicit yes, go get it for a CPU that I haven't actually tried out yet. It's just kind of one of those not as popular, not as talked about CPUs. Everyone's so obsessed with the 9800 X3Ds, which rightly so, they're extremely powerful. But a lot of these PCs have great deals with the 7800 X3D CPUs since they're a little bit older now and not as powerful. Brick stuff 1440p, but I have a 4K OLED. Yeah, if you have a 4K OLED, you're not getting the sharpest image if you're trying to reduce the pixels in a way to get you to 1440. It's going to be like more of like a blurry interpolation going from 4K to 1440p. I mean, it's not going to look blurry, but for instance, if you're going from 4K to 1080p, it's going to look super sharp at 1080p because you're basically taking 4 pixels. For every 4 pixels, you're bringing that down to 1 pixel for 1080p. So every 4 pixels will now be like just one solid chunk of a pixel represented in 1080p. But yeah, 240 hertz monitor. It's pretty smooth. Chad Loaf tried to post the link to the Y40, but YouTube said the comment was too long. Oh, so it cut it off? Add bestbuy.com to that. Oh, alright. bestbuy.com/. $2,000 for 7800 X3D and 5070 Ti. It's pretty close to the deals that I have. So it was a 7800 X3D, 5070 Ti. The iBuyPower Element is going to be $1,800, so that's going to be a little bit better of a deal. But yeah, man, that CyberPower PC, I actually keep going back to this and clicking on it in hopes that it came back in stock. Because I saw this one sell a lot of before Black Friday. This used to be, I think, $2,250 before Black Friday, and I saw a lot of sales come through for this PC. But now it's completely sold out. ABG PC Whirlwind. Yeah, I would honestly still get a 7800 X3D with a 5070 Ti above this one. But as far as if you go for this one, 7800X3D with a 5070 Ti, these are the FPS that you can expect. Oh no, that's the similar because I haven't yet done a PC with 7800X3D, only a 9800X3D. Oh, you know what? Even more so, yeah, because these are FPS with that 9800X3D. That shows that this is an even better deal than it appears. Where'd it go? Why is it saying 70? The review that I did was with the 9800X3D. Or no, it was the 7800X3D. What I was showing was similar FPS charts. So yeah, this one's going to be a little bit slower than that, but comparable to the one that you have. Yeah, so I guess I don't have specifically actual FPS for a 7800X3D 5070 Ti combo, just the 9800X3D. The CyberPower PC GXI 3400 BST is a pretty good deal for 1200 pre-built. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Who was that? That was Tony Hay Munkins. Gifted 10 memberships. Awesome. Thank you very much. I've always wondered, when you gift memberships, are you gifting memberships to, is that to people that you know, or is that people in the chat? I've actually don't know how that works. Appreciate that, Tony. That's awesome. Let me take a look at this pre-built. Copy. Let me copy that last 7. Okay, I guess I just won't copy that last 7, and I'll type it in. $1,200. Okay, so you're talking about this one, a 9700X and 5060 Ti. Closest comparison I have of that. It's a 9600X and a 9060 XT. But the Element Pro, for $1,300, and you get a 5070, so that's a big deal. $5070 versus a 5060 Ti. So we got 33 to 44. It's kind of the difference that you can expect to 4K. So what is that? Percentage calculator. 30%. Pick up some 6000 CL30 RAM for 2060 after tax. Is that good right now? In this RAM market, I'd say that's good in this RAM market. So that's what is that, 32 gigabytes of RAM? Is that a combo kit? I buy Power Element SE gaming desktop with the i5 and 5060. Best Buy for $780. I think I have that one on my list. Yeah, that one's on my list. Let's see right here. I believe it's still currently in stock. I haven't done a review with that specific combo, so I don't have FPS charts to compare with that. Oh wait, let me see. Let me look at my list. Yeah, the closest I have is an i7. I haven't done an i5 5060 combo. Let's see. Guys, let me know too if any of these is no longer in stock, so I can go ahead and make that whole line red so people don't waste their time clicking on links for things that don't exist anymore. So this is still in stock. That's good. Need to delete some of these. Got too many tabs open. This music is a little too soothing for my late night tired eyes. We like that. All right, I'm going to do a new poll because we've been on this resolution one for a while. Got 99 votes. Most people are wanting to game at 1440p. So this is actually different from 2 days ago. Most people were saying they wanted to go to 4K. So 1440p is the large majority right now. Another poll that I think is important to do on here is to see what most people's budgets are at. So I want to make sure to do that. End poll. Start a poll. Is your gaming PC budget $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000? $4,000 plus, since that's the last one we can do. Is the Alienware Area 5090 still the best gaming PC to buy for 5K, or are there any other options? So, it's not actually 5K anymore. So it was kind of close-ish to 5K. It's now 4250, and yes, I just updated all of my price to performance charts. If you're buying a PC with a 5090, you're going to want to game at 4K to get the full advantage of that 5090. And yes, it is currently the best bang for your buck, the best price to performance that you can get with a 5090 out of the PCs that I've tested. Now there is the Yeyian Mirage, which appears to have good reviews. I haven't physically tested it yet in my studio, but this Yeyian Mirage is $4,000, right up there with that ABS Eurus that just went out of stock. So this is the best deal that I've found for a pre-built gaming PC. Nelson, your reviews really helped me out. Awesome. Glad they're helping. Tony, hey Munkins, I've been playing Cyberpunk in 4K using FrameGen on my 4070 and it's running quite playable. Looks awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I do all my tests without FrameGen, without DLSS, but when I'm not in test mode, I actually turn that stuff on because it makes stuff look amazing as far as bringing back the smoothness that you lose when you want to make everything look beautiful with all those ultra graphic presets. Opinion on PowerSpec G527. So Micro Center. I think that was the one that I checked out earlier from somebody else, right? Oh, here it is. I clicked on specifically G527 and it didn't take me there. Oh yeah, this was the one that I looked at. Yeah, it's got that 7500 X3D, which I've never done a pre-built review with that CPU. It seems like it's one of those like not looked at that much CPUs, so it's hard to give like a go ahead on that. But with a 9060 XT, $1,000, that's a pretty good price. I do have some other PCs that I have tested on here in that range. This 9600X CPU, $1,100 on the Skytech Shadow. Mr. Salahani 4250, can you send me the link for that price? Yes, if you want to go, I have a link to this spreadsheet in my tabs, but also I just pinned it. I pinned it on this video, so it should be popping up in the bottom left corner of this video in about 5 seconds. Let me see if I'm up to date on here. Yep. So it showed up on my screen that now the Alienware Area 51 is in the bottom left screen as a clickable tag. Yeah, it's at 4250 right now. Makes it playable at 4070. It isn't a bad card, but it's definitely not a 4K card, but it's working. Hey, switching from Xbox to PC with a $1,000 budget, would you recommend a PC? Yeah, the Skytech Shadow is one that a lot of people have been getting for that price range. It's $1,100. But yeah, I would get the Skytech Shadow over the iBuyPower Slate. Actually, let's look at the overall FPS. So a 9600X versus an i7 14700F. I have PCs that are similar in performance to those. So let's look at the combo differences. I'm guessing you're going to be at 1080p or 1440p with that kind of a PC. So yeah, it's the 9600X versus with the 9060 XT is just barely above that i7 5060. Technically a little lower in the 1% lows, but on average it's above. Same thing here, the 1% lows are just a little lower. The average is higher. Hey, let me know if the music is too loud, guys. It sounds semi-loud in my headphones, but I want to make sure that it's not blaring in you guys' microphones or headphones. You can go ahead and pin the Skytech Shadow that I was not. That's the Rampage. That's going to be a lot higher than 1,000. 1,000. There's the Skytech Shadow for 1,100. Should be popping up in the bottom left corner. But it's also, all these PCs are going to be underneath the video as well. If you scroll down under the video, you should be able to scroll through all these PCs that are on that list without even having to go to the spreadsheet. But yeah, for those of you that are just now jumping into the stream, if you go to my chart that's in my video, scroll down to right here at the beginning of the description, you click on this chart right here, and it's going to take you to the spreadsheet that has thousands of hours worth of information that I put in here. It took me several days just to create the spreadsheet, but it's an accumulation over thousands of hours put into reviewing all of these PCs this year. Not all of these PCs that I'm recommending I've had hands-on testing with. All these PCs on here I have done actual reviews on. You can see my reviews in this column right here. Here's all the product links. The actual FPS, you click on that and it's going to shoot you down to the actual FPS for each of those computers. Then you click on the bottom and you can shoot back up to the top where you can then look at some of the other PCs. For the PCs that I have not had hands-on experience with, I put next to it same spec FPS charts. So these will give you roughly similar ballpark because they have the exact same specs as the PCs in these charts. So for instance, we'll go to the Yeyian Mirage. I have not yet tested the Yeyian Mirage physically in the studio, but if you click on the same spec FPS charts, it's going to take you down here and show you a PC with the exact same specs and the FPS that we got at Ultra Graphic Presets. So yeah, I think it's going to be, this spreadsheet alone is going to be just invaluable for you guys, and I hope it helps out a lot of you guys nail down the decision that you want to make for your budget. But yeah, all of these tests are without DLSS or FrameGen on, because I want to compare apples to apples between these PCs. Software is changing all the time, so I definitely want to make sure that I'm not giving any new PC an unfair advantage because it's got some new fancy software FrameGen tool turned on. But yeah, usually I do all my tests, or I always do all my tests without that, and then later on I turn it on when I am actually gaming. Gigabyte Aorus is still available at Amazon. Okay. I don't normally buy PCs from Amazon. I don't know why. It feels weird to buy something like that from Amazon. I tend to stick mostly with like Best Buy and Newegg, like the technology retailers that I've always used. Best Buy, man. Best Buy because they've always been really good with returns for me, and I'm also a Best Buy Elite member, so I get a longer return period than anywhere else because I pay yearly for that. Lenovo Legion Tower 285. Oh, wait, I skipped a few. The Skytech Shadow for 1100 linked in the description would be his recommendation. Yep. It should be pinned in the bottom left corner of this video now as well. Have you heard anything about the Acer Nitro 60 i7 14700F 5070 Ti? Let's take a look at that one real quick. Acer Nitro 60 i7 14700F 5070 Ti. So 1950. No reviews on it yet. What's the closest equivalent I have to a 5070 Ti i7? Yeah, the Asus ROG that I reviewed. Well, I reviewed the Asus ROG G700, but in my review, I actually said, don't get the one that I reviewed. Get this one because it's a much better. You get much more performance with that 9800 X3D and 5070 Ti. That's at 2150. The CyberPower PC, man, that was a really good deal, but yeah, it went out of stock 2 days ago. The AVG PC Whirlwind at Newegg. That's probably going to be similar performance to that one that you're looking at. So yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good, a pretty good deal, even though I haven't specifically tested this one yet. Lenovo Legion Tower 10 285K 5090 sold out. Oh no. Is it? Link you clicked on is malformed. What? Pasted another window. Why is it malformed? Alright, let me just search for it then. I believe you. I'm just making sure that I'd verify because sometimes different things are available in different regions. Oh, does it not even show it as an option? Oh, so Lenovo has nothing with 5090s anymore. Oh, boo. All right. Another one bites the dust. Sold out. I think that happens with Lenovo every year. Their 5090 or 4090 gets sold out on Black Friday. But it's just because they're always priced so well. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Ortigen, I prefer Best Buy for returns and Newegg. Yeah, Newegg had a fiasco, I want to say it was like 3 years ago. Gamers Nexus like ripped into them because I think one of his things didn't get, like they were denying one of his returns. They didn't know he was Gamers Nexus. I think he was posing as another, just an average person. And he ripped into them and apparently people were like getting scammed with things not being allowed to be returned when they should have been. And ever since then, they've been really good with returns. Their return policies have been amazing, and their sales have been increasing quite a bit because they're customer focused again. MSI Aegis Gaming Desktop 9900X with the 5080. Is that a Best Buy PC? That's the 5070. MSI Aegis 900X 5080. Oop, 9900X. Only 3 reviews. What's the RAM? 2 terabytes of storage, 6,000 megahertz, 64 gigabytes of RAM. So I would prefer a 9800X3D if you're gaming. Does MSI have a version of that with a 9800X3D? Yeah, but it's $3,400. You can actually get a 9800X3D 5080 version for $2,300 with the ABS Stratos Ruby or even the HP Omen 35L Stealth. Or no, that's the 5070 Ti. Let's see if the Stratos Ruby from Newegg is still in stock. It's back ordered. ETA date on when it'll be back in stock is December 8th. Yeah, ABS is one of those that keeps selling out this year too. One thing that I love about ABS is you always know the exact GPU brand that you're going to be getting. You're going to know the exact RAM brand that you're getting because this is all an in-house pre-built brand by Newegg. They can tell you right off the bat what you're going to be getting versus just luck of the draw, whatever is available like all the other pre-builts. I hope the Supers come out next year, mid-cycle. Would building your own always be cheaper? For the most part, it's always cheaper to build your own. Skytech, iBuyPower, and CyberPower PCs have been doing a pretty good job bridging that gap, though, and getting very close to the price of building your own. PowerSpec G7 300. I'm guessing this is a Micro Center thing. Okay. Oh, this is that one that I keep getting. A lot of people are asking about this one. Or no, the one that I got recently was the 7500X 3D, which I feel nervous about recommending because it's like the lowest end X3D, and I haven't personally tested it. Honestly, wouldn't really want to go lower than a 7800X 3D for a gaming CPU. So $1,700. 7800X 3D with the 5070 Ti. The deals that I have. $1,800 for the iBuyPower. So it's actually better than the deal that I have. RAM 32 gigabytes. Yeah, it's a pretty solid option. Do I buy power from Best Buy usually come with clean Windows, or do they bloat it? The only bloatware that normally comes on iBuyPower that I've seen is you always get McAfee. There's a lot of gaming PCs that come with McAfee. I always remove that. I don't like OneDrive either. When I sign into an account, my benchmarking account, it like tries to load up everything on like the OneDrive cloud, and I don't really like or need OneDrive. Wow, so this, with 43 votes, your gaming PC budget, this is quite a bit different than what I got 2 days ago. It's at 47% chose $2,000 as their budget. A few days ago, the number for 4,000 plus was higher. 3,000 seems to be the a very strange range. Actually, it's probably a strange range too, because there's not many PCs in the 3,000 range. Yeyian Gaming PC MIRAGE-S AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D with a 5090. 3,700 at Newegg. Okay, so for $300 less, let me see if I can tag that real quick so other people can look at it. $7,800X3D. Alright, so I just put that pin so other people can look at it while we're talking about it. Why is it showing these combo packs? I want to look at combo pack. There we go. Yeah, so if you are doing a lot of gaming at 4K, it's not going to hurt as bad to go down to 7800X3D. So save $300 by getting this one versus the $4,000 9800X3D version. I think that's worth putting on my list too. I'm going to put that on my list. Remove this because I don't actually have, I don't think I've done a 7800X3D review with a 5090, so I don't have actual FPS for that build. But I can tell you at 4K it's not going to make as big of a difference to have a less powerful GPU. Copy this link. Ooh, that's a long link. Let's see if it works. Yep, it works. Gregory, what are the most underestimated components in PC builds and which options to choose there? Underestimated is kind of one of those things where I'd say GPU, but GPU people already estimate the GPU to be very powerful. So underestimated? I think a lot of times people overestimate the necessity for the best CPU when it comes to 4K gaming. I know in the beginning people had just shunned Intel completely when they found out that AMD was a better gaming CPU, but 4K gaming is really, like, it's all about the GPU. So I think when people talk about CPUs so much when they want to game at 4K, they're underestimating the power of the GPU and how much the GPU, how much of a load the GPU actually takes on. What are some silent fans and battery power replacements you'd recommend for an iBuyPower PC? Corsair makes some pretty good power supplies. What's the one? Let me see real quick. This one's an old one, but Noctua always has really quiet fans. This is what I was using on one of my upgrades. Forgot how many. It was like a couple years ago, though. I'm sure Noctua has even better, quieter fans than that now. But honestly, I don't think you really need to upgrade the fans to quieter fans on the iBuyPower PC. I didn't really have an issue with those being too loud. Sometimes the issue is with the default fan settings curve not being where it needs to be, which you can adjust within the BIOS. Or sometimes the fan settings are set to how do I explain it? The fans aren't set to their proper modes within the BIOS, and I've noticed that once they were set to the proper modes, they weren't trying to run the fans at maximum percentage anymore. Is the drop-off between 9800X3D to 7800X3D big? Well, I'll show you the hierarchy between those. Here we go. So here is 9800X3D to 7800X3D, and this is obviously at 1080p. So you're looking at 168 average with 16 games to 195. Let's see what the percentage is on that. We'll round it up to 169. It's a 15% increase when you're gaming at 1080p, so I'd say that's pretty substantial. Monitors are underrated. Good monitors. Yeah, monitors are definitely underrated. There's a lot of times people don't see the benefit of getting an OLED until they get OLED. I'm using an OLED monitor right now, and the lack of motion blur, how sharp it is, the contrast is something that always just amazes me in environments that have a lot of black. But yeah, having a high refresh rate monitor on a game with high FPS is quite the experience. I just bought a Legion Tower 7i 5090, but after taxes it was $3,861, so my budget was $3,000 or $4,000. Oh, that's a good point. I would say you were closer to the $4,000 range with tax. Go get another drink real quick. Get some Monster Energy in here. Oh, it's so good. I love the blue Monster. It's almost as good as water. I bought the AW3225 QF 4K OLED for $900. Nice. I've got the 32-inch LG Ultra Gear monitor, the dual mode, which honestly is kind of a gimmick. I always run it in 4K. I never go to the 1080p version. But yeah, the Legion Tower is now another sold out option. All right, for those of you just now getting into this stream, I want to kind of give you the lowdown of everything going on. So these are a bunch of the gaming PCs that I have reviewed or am in the process of reviewing. This is the Lenovo Legion Tower 5. This is the Asus ROG G700. That is an Apex gaming PC, which I just got in the other day. It just got benchmarked the other day as well. I have not done the review on it yet. This is the Asus. This is the Corsair Vengeance A7500. This is the ABG PC Max right there. This is the iBuyPower Element. This is an ABS Cyclone. That's the MXZ. This is the HP Omen 35L Stealth. And that's the version of the Asus ROG G700 that I was sent in the beginning. That was kind of an accident. They didn't mean to send me that one because that is not actually one that was available. I had wasted an entire day of re-recording because I was sent the wrong PC in the beginning, which was unfortunate, but luckily people are liking the review, so that makes me happy. But yes, as far as my chart, in the description of this video, I have a link to this chart, and this chart was an accumulation of thousands of hours of testing and reviewing many gaming PCs over this past year. The chart itself took several days just to put together with all of this data. But here you can see how all of these different PC, the most common PC configurations, how they're average and 1% low FPS numbers compared to each other. This is 1080p and this is 1440p. Underneath that, you've got the gaming PCs at 4K. At 4K. Then underneath that, I have all the recent PCs that I've tested this year, all in a list from the most powerful to the least powerful. And then if you click on these right next to that, you can actually, it'll send you to the actual FPS numbers at every resolution for all of these games that we tested it at. And then you click underneath that and it'll take you back up to the spreadsheet. We've got the product links next to each of these computers. The ones at the top are not the good deals. These are just the ones that I love the most, that are my favorite. They're expensive but super powerful. In the 4,000 range and lower are the ones that I kind of found for the Black Friday deals, the ones that are going to be your best price to performance ratios. The best price to performance ratio 5090 PC that I've tested is still this Alienware Area 51. All of my prices on my charts have been updated since yesterday. So underneath these main 3 FPS charts, we also have the price to performance ratio charts. If you scroll to the right, you can see that we've got the pricing per FPS at 4K, and the 5090 version of the Alienware Area 51 is still the best 5090 price to performance ratio pre-built that we have on here. And technically, I have one more PC in here. The PC that's actually off camera is the Corsair Build Kit PC. I don't like the way this looks. Oh. But yeah, so that's the lowdown of everything going on in the stream. Make sure to check out this spreadsheet because it's got a lot of helpful information. If you find a PC later on and you're like, you know what, it's not on this list, I don't really want any of these PCs, if you could do me a favor, if all of this information helped you, because you'll have similar same spec PC charts or FPS charts even for PCs that I haven't physically tested. Like I haven't specifically tested the 9950 X3D version of the Corsair Vengeance A8200, but I have tested a PC with these exact specs before, so you can see similar FPS in that column right there. If you find a PC at any one of these retailers, if you could please use my link, I would really, really appreciate it if any of this information has helped you, because I'll get a small commission at no cost to you for using any of these links before you make a purchase. Even if you buy something like accessories or anything like that. Most things at most of these retailers are commissionable. There are things that aren't, like CyberPower, or at Best Buy, a lot of times Apple products are not commissionable for some reason. Skytech Shadow 9600X 9060 XT, not finding that PC. Oh, did that one go out of stock too? So it's still on my list. I just pinned it to this video, so it should be popping up in this bottom left corner right here. It should be popping up in that corner of the video, about 5 seconds. See if, yep, so it's popped up on mine. If you want to check that link out. But if you're saying that it's no longer in stock, I do want to double check that. What does it say its availability is? Oh, it says add to cart. So yeah, that one is still available. The 4070 Super still a solid GPU? Yeah. Yeah, it's still a pretty good GPU. Do you guys know of any Cyber Monday deals on an M.2 NVMe SSD 4 terabyte? What is Newegg currently got a 4 terabyte SSD at? 374 4 terabytes. It's nothing special. King Spec. It's not a brand that I've tested before, but that is 4 terabytes. Most of the pre-builts that I review are Western Digital or Samsung's. But some of the more recent ones, the A-Data Legends, obviously the Corsair Vengeance PCs are going to use their own MP600 Core XT. All right, so after 57 votes, we've got 44% of everybody is going the $2,000 route, and 23% at 4,000 plus, another 28% at 1,000. Sorry, not seeing it on my end. Are you on a computer right now? So you don't see a link in the bottom left corner of the video right now? Or underneath the actual video, the products should all be in a long list like this. You should just be able to scroll to the right and see the $1,000 or $1,100 Skytech Shadow PC right there. Yeah, a lot of the PCs in the $4,000 range seem to be the ones going first. 4,000 to 2,000. Only one of the $3,000 ranges have gone out of stock, and the under 1,000 seem to be keeping stock pretty nice for those. I bought the CyberPower PC model SLC 5200 BSDF that you reviewed. Having trouble with the monitor going black and then it goes to sleep. I can't wake hitting a key or clicking the mouse. Interesting. The monitor, so the monitor frequently goes black, or it's black right now and you're communicating to me through another device? What resolution are you running that PC yet. Is it like a weird resolution? It's not really making sense why the monitor would do that. Is it a nice monitor? And no, I don't think you're done with this question, but just to make sure, because I don't know you personally, but you are making sure to put the HDMI into the lower section where the GPU is, not the higher HDMI that's attached to the motherboard. Hope that question doesn't offend you. So I don't know you personally. But yeah, when it comes to, I always set my power mode to high performance within Windows. Let me show that to you real quick. So for power options, you'll want to go to high performance and then turn off display to never and put the computer sleep to never and then save your changes. That should keep your computer from ever just randomly going to sleep. But you might already know that. Yi for this Black Friday is spending $2K to get a 5080 pre-build, spending $4K to getting a 5090 pre-build. Generally a good deal. $2K to get a 5080 pre-built is really good. The best deals that I have on my list are $2,300 for a 5080 pre-built. That's the ABS Stratos Ruby. Those Newegg pre-built PCs always have really good price to performance ratios, and they're built really well too. But yes, $2,000 for a 5080 PC and $4,000 for a 5090 PC. Those are definitely good deals. Even the Alienware Area 51 for $4,250 is a really good deal. And that, if you look at my price to performance charts for all the PCs that I've reviewed this past year, the Alienware Area 51 for $4,250 is the best price to performance ratio out of all the 5090 pre-builts that I've reviewed. Asus or CyberPower? I'd go Asus. CyberPower is going to be a little bit more better for your bang for your buck, though. Quality-wise, I'd say Asus is a little bit above CyberPower. The $1,100 PC is pinned in the video for me. It's not linked in the description for me, but popped up in the pinned. Oh, did I not put that in the description? Oh, I said link tagged in list above. So the list above, or technically the list is below, I should say below, because on a live video, the tagged list is underneath the description. So these are all the YouTube tags, the product tags. These are from Best Buy, Walmart, Dell, and Newegg. But yeah, if you scroll to the right a little bit, you can see that Skytech PC right there for $1,100. Do you think the performance of a 5090 is significantly better than an RTX 4090 or subtle? No, it's definitely not subtle. There's definitely a very big difference between the two. Let me pull up the GPU comparison charts. So that's a 1080p. We're gonna go to, yeah, I guess it depends on what resolution you're gaming at. At 1080p, it is technically subtle because you're not really relying on the power of the GPU at a resolution that's lower. but go up to 4K Ultra. Look at that massive jump. What is that percentage-wise? 81 to 102. It's definitely not subtle when you're gaming at 4K. 26% increase in performance. It goes black after 6 minutes. Interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what, and is that during gaming, or that's just when you're doing average things, your PC goes black? Or is it when you're leaving your computer untouched that it goes black? There's an Acer Nitro 60 with a 5070 Ti for $1,700 on Best Buy. Guessing you're talking about this one. Let's look at the RAM speeds. Pass it. Weird, it's not showing the RAM speeds on here. So you're asking about, you're wanting 100 FPS at 4K with a 5070 Ti PC. This one has an i7. I don't know if I have specifically tested that combo. i7 with a 5070 Ti. I've done an i7 with a 5070. So that one that you're looking at is going to be better than this one. So here's the actual FPS with a 5070, not a 5070 Ti at 4K. So depending on the game you're playing, this is at ultra graphic presets. Most of these games, you're not getting close to that 100 FPS that you're looking for. So this is at ultra graphic presets. If you step down to like medium graphic presets with DLSS, you might get closer to that 100 FPS that you're wanting, depending on the type of game. So with DLSS, bringing your graphic presets down to medium and having a 5070 Ti, you might just barely be still under what you're wanting as far as FPS. Link tagged in list above. So I guess it's semi-confusing. The link is technically, in all my videos, this tagged product list is usually above the description. I guess in a live video, it's beneath the description. So maybe in there, I need to change that to say below description. But right now it should, yeah, so I'm looking on my video, and the Skytech shadow is still here on the video itself. You can click on this. But I'm gonna find a down arrow emoji. And I'm gonna change those in the description to say below description. Link tagged and list below. Why is it not letting me type? Oh, because I'm not in edit mode. There we go. That should be less confusing now, I believe. Yeah, in this list, it's beneath my description. It's before you get to the comment. Actually, there's no comments on this video yet because it's all chat. Yeah, under the description, this is where those products will be. Oops, did not mean to click on that. If you scroll almost all the way down, you'll find the Skytech shadow right there. The back order dates on Newegg usually reliable. In the past, they have seemed to be, at least for me, the 2 or 3 PCs that I've seen do that, they have actually had stock available on those days. Hey, I'm going to buy the R7 7800X3D 5070 Ti CyberPower for $2,200 USD, including tax. I'm in Canada. So the 7800X3D with the 5070 Ti. Oh, that's that PC that for $1,950 sold out. So you're getting a 7800X3D 5070 Ti for $2,200 US dollar. I mean, technically you could go up $100 more, get the ABS Stratos Ruby, and then you have a 5080. And that 9800X3D is going to be better bang for your buck. So honestly, my recommendation for you would be to get one of these PCs, like this Asus ROG for $2,150. It's $50 less, but you get that 9800X3D, which is more powerful than the one that you're talking about. But then, yeah, you could spend $100 more and get that 5080, which I would recommend. I'm not really feeling this song. Some weird songs at the end of this list. one's chill. Dissolve. How do you keep your brain from frying up? Power settings. Oh, my brain frying up from all of this talking and all this data and all these numbers. Monster Energy. Wish I had an affiliate link for Monster Energy because it's delicious. Actually, I'll show you what keeps me going. I'm not a health advisor, but those two things keep me going. Mr. Gary, great stream and channel. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I hope you guys are really enjoying this spreadsheet, because I was really excited to share this with you guys, and it was a lot of time and effort went into putting all this data together in a chart that, in a list and chart that was clean enough, that made sense, but also had enough to where like you guys were getting really good value out of it, making all this link to their specific FPS down below. Just to make everything as quick as possible for you guys to get the most information as possible. Lee Rock, I'm going to buy an R7 7800X3D 5070. Oh wait, no, I already read that. Should I aim for 9800X3D? Yeah, I would. I mean, you're going to get quite a bit more FPS with the 9800X3D. Depending on how much more expensive it is in Canada, but some of these deals that I was showing you, US dollar wise, you can get a 9800X3D 5080 PC for just barely more than that PC that you were showing me. I want a PC that would give good FPS and do whatever good I throw at it. Budget friendly, help me please. CLX Set 9900X3D white. I also want to get this one. Where is that PC? Let's see if I can find that one. On the 5080 version of that PC, not the 5070 Ti version. That one sold out already? I'm finding the 9070 XT version of that PC. Oh no, I think I found it. Oh, it's at Best Buy and at Walmart. So I just added that to my list. I'm going to pin it and then we're going to look at it. Hey, I didn't tell the music to stop. So if you go to live, it should be pinned. Yep. Oh, that's the Walmart one. I want to pin the Best Buy one. It's a while to update. There it is. Okay. So 9900X, the 5070 Ti, 2160. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. So you're looking at a little bit lower than that 9800X 3D with that CPU, the 9900X, depending on what resolution you're gaming at. So here's the 9900X at 1920 by 1080. You're looking at 142 versus the 195. So 37%, actually no, that's not a small difference. That's a pretty significant difference. So that one is cheaper though, 2160. But yeah, I mean, there's several PCs that are around the same price with quite a bit better performance, like that Asus ROG GM700. See if that one's still in stock. See how that one's got the same GPU but a 9800X 3D. So if you're gaming at 1080p, it's going to have that 37% better performance. What's better, getting a 5060 Ti with 16 gigabytes of RAM or 5070 with 12 gigabytes of VRAM? Getting my first PC. So most of the games that I play or test are under 12 gigabytes of VRAM. I think the one that gets the closest is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So it depends on what games you play. But for the most part, I'd say 12 gigabytes of VRAM is pretty sufficient. So I don't benchmark Dota 2, but if you want to look at the FPS in my chart for what I got with the Skytech Shadow, you can kind of look at the games that are similar performance and see what are the games that have kind of like a similar draw on your graphics as those. So like, let's go to the Skytech Shadow actual FPS charts. Depending on what resolution you want to game at, the kind of FPS that you're expecting to get. As I mentioned earlier in this stream, I don't run any type of DLSS or frame gen, so you can get higher than this once you start turning on those tweaks. Yeah, Trinidust, thank you for making sure to use my link in the spreadsheet. I really appreciate that. Stankson, can I trust that Micro Center or Best Buy can do a good job building my PC for me? Yeah, that just depends on the people that they have building them. But I would think so. I haven't yet done one of those like testing them to see how well they build PCs for me. I haven't done that with Best Buy or Micro Center yet. Glitch says, how is the 9800X 3D versus the 9900X? So let's look at the difference between them in my performance tests. Okay, so I haven't done specifically a 9900X. So let's look at the generalized charts with those two CPUs. I was talking about this with somebody else. The 9900X 3D. Oh yeah, here we go. So the Ryzen 9 9900X, 142 to 195, and the percentage difference is 38 or 37%. So if you're gaming at 1080p, that's a pretty significant increase between those two CPUs. Do you think there's a huge difference between 1440p and 4K on a 4K TV? Well, so 4K is technically about double the pixels of 1440p and quadruple the pixels of 1080p. So I always notice the difference because I have a really big TV, but if you have a smaller TV and you sit pretty far away from it, you're not going to notice that big of a difference. If you're somebody that that watches sports, like if you watch NFL games, and you can't tell that that is being broadcast a lot of times in 720p, then you're not going to notice the difference between 1440p and 4K. Are the deals in Costco good? I did see a deal last week pop up in my email from Costco that was pretty good with iBuyPower. But a lot of these retailers are having very similar deals to each other. Should I get a CyberPower 5070 or an Acer Nitro 60 5070? They're both on Best Buy and they both are $1,400. Which one would be better if you could help me? If they're both the exact same price, usually... Let me look at that Acer Nitro, because I've had a lot more experience reviewing CyberPower PCs, but I'd be lying if I told you I think there's a major difference between these two. Leaning toward a little bit more towards CyberPower, since I've had more experience with them and I think they're designed better. Like I like the three-sided glass panel design CyberPower PC that I reviewed a bit better than this one. But I think you'll be happy with either one of those. CyberPower PC or iBuyPower? I like CyberPower PC a little bit better than iBuyPower. That room has to be hot with all those PCs. Yeah, I do have a fan blowing on me right now. Luckily, nobody's complained about any fan noises on my mic, so I'm assuming that this microphone is holding up pretty well. Actually, are there links for? This is the Sony InZone H9. Is that? Can I put that link up there? Sony InZone H9 II. Oh, that is at Best Buy. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my list. Oh, it says I have too many products on here now. Okay, I'll remove one so I can put these headphones. Yeah, I did a test with my studio microphone and this microphone from the Sony H9 headset, and the difference was astounding. Astounding is as in there wasn't a huge difference between a studio microphone and the microphone on a gaming headset. Best budget pre-built PC right now. So if by budget, I'm assuming you're probably thinking in like the $1,000 range, or a little bit more than that. Let me show you the price to performance charts here. So the Lenovo Legion Tower 5 that I just recently did a bunch of benchmarks for. I haven't released the review on it yet. So between the iBuyPower Slate 9 and the Lenovo Legion Tower 5, iBuyPower Slate 9 if you're wanting to game at 4K, but I'm assuming at this price range you're probably going to be playing 1440p, so the best price to performance ratio out of all the PCs that I've tested have been that pretty popular Lenovo Legion 5. And that's this one on the chart. I don't know do I have that on my list underneath this video. Let's see if I can pin that to this video. Oh, that specific one isn't within YouTube's product tags for some reason. Yeah, this Lenovo Legion Tower 5, these are the actual FPS that I got with that PC. That's a really good deal right now. And that's on my chart. It is currently line 21 on my chart. Or no, wait. No, that's the 10. Legion Tower 5 is number 44 on my chart. And I believe it's still in stock. Let's see. Black Friday deal, 1400. And yes, it's still in stock. Hey Justin, is it better to get a 5080 or 5070 Ti for gaming mostly? Well, yeah, definitely a 5080 is going to be better. Here's the performance, depending on what you're gaming at. Most people said that they're going to be gaming at like the 1440p range. So the difference in performance between the 5080 and 5070 Ti, so 98 to 109. Looking at about 11% better performance, 1440p. 1440p OLED or regular 4K. It sounds like most people in this chat are wanting to game at 1440p. So if you're wanting to game at 1440p, definitely get a 1440p monitor, because downscaling from 4K is never going to look as sharp as 1440p native. A 10K budget? Well, on my charts, the ones that are not the best price to performance, but are my favorite ones, the Corsair Vengeance 8200. That's this one. Actually, let me show you the same spec charts for that PC. Skytech Legacy 4 had those exact specs. And these were some pretty insane gaming FPS at 4K with ultra graphic presets. So once you turn on DLSS and things like that, that'll go even higher than that. But my favorite, like, crazy PC, like crazy looking overall, it's $8,000. But, oh, that's not my review for that. That's the wrong video. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that before I forget. The Origin PC Arachnid is my favorite, like, insane PC that is only for people that money isn't really an issue. Yeah, this PC. That PC was so beautiful. Yeah, I had water cooling for both the CPU and GPU, so the temperatures were insane. Had a 9950 X3D CPU, so it was good for productivity tasks and for gaming. The only thing about that one is, if you ever want to, like, upgrade in the future, it's going to be a much more tedious thing with all that. All those loops, having to refill the liquid and all that. All right, glitch, this is good, right? Did you send a link with that this is good question? I'm not seeing a link anywhere. I have a 55-inch 4K 144 hertz TV and debating if I should get the 5070 Ti for 4K 100 FPS or DLSS, or go with the 5080. How close? So is that a TV for your living room, or are you using like a TV on your desk and gaming on that? Because if it's a 55-inch in a living room, I think you're technically far enough away in a living room setting to barely notice a huge difference between 4K and 1440p. Do you think Micro Center is the best place to go for gaming? It's a great destination to go for buying PC parts in person to build your own gaming PC. Kev Fool, look at the Asus ROG G700, man, brother. So I did. My most recent review is for that PC. Are you talking about a specific version of that PC? I do have the G700 in my charts, or in my list, as one of the ones that I recommend. The GM700 is the one that I recommend the most, with a 9800X3D and 5070 Ti. I need to get some, I'm gonna get some more water. I'll be right back real quick. Is there a difference between an SSD and a PCIe 4.0 SSD? Today, pretty much everything right now is a PCIe 4 SSD. It's just giving more, it's being more descriptive.